dreaded F chord. Everybody hates the F chord. Anyway, here we go. Let's take a look at this. I know it's a bad one. And between this one and B minor, probably the two worst chords, you know, as far as like barring. Now I'm going to show you something a teacher of mine taught me on the 6-string F chord. Let's get right into the hardest one. The hardest one is the 6-string F chord. Okay, we're going to talk about different variations. We're going to look at the 5-string, the 4-string, and we're going to look at benefits for these all. We're going to look at this one right here where you can, like, if you wanted to jet up here real quick while playing the song, if you had an F chord, wanted to do that, that's a possibility. So we're going to look at that. We're going to look at that. We're going to look at everything about an F chord right now because everybody hates the F chord. I'm kidding. You know, B minor, F. Now, let me tell you why. The nut is right here. The strings are coming right off the nut. So when you're playing that 6-string F chord, you know, you're coming right off the nut. You're going up here like a B chord. This is like an area B and A sharp kind of thing. That's where my hand fits most comfortably. Okay, but down here, I mean, you know, yikes. Okay, so I understand. Trust me, I'm on your side. So all those who hate the F chord, I do too. Okay, so let's look at it. Now, a cop-out F chord that I use, I'm going to tell you right now, it's a second inversion of an F chord. And rather than hold the whole thing like this, what I do is I grab it like this, because then it makes it easy to do a C chord. Like if you're playing with some band and they happen to do that kind of chord progression, you know, B flat, another popular chord in the F progression. So anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to look at that. We're going to look at that. This, I think, it's a really cool, full-sounding go-to chord, and not the easiest thing to do. Okay, so we're going to look at that. So you got to put your first finger here on the 1st and 2nd string. Okay, this is kind of a weird thing, and it's got to happen. You got to hold that down on the 1st and 2nd string there at the 1st fret. Now you're going to put your 2nd finger on string 3, 2nd fret. Okay, and then you're going to put your 3rd finger on string 5, 3rd fret, and you're going to put your pinky on string 4, 3rd fret. Okay, now a little trick that I do is I mute string 6 by putting my 3rd finger up against string 6, okay? That's like a little trick I do. I know it's kind of hard to get used to, but that way you're only going to sound off 5 strings, which this is devised. See, when I played that 6th string, you couldn't hear it. Okay, a great F chord. Okay, that's a great F chord. Okay, let's talk about the brutal F chord. The brutal F chord, okay, 6 strings. Now you're adding this root note here. Okay, now this is great. I had a viewer just a couple days ago ask me, he goes, for some reason, he goes, I can't get that 2nd string to ring out. And here's something my guitar teacher taught me. And what he said was, so imagine this being the radius of the neck. Okay, so if you, instead of matching your finger to the radius of the neck, which is what it's supposed to do, imagine like arcing your fretting hand. Instead of like matching that, if you arc it and push down more on the center strings, okay, and this is my answer to my viewer who just asked me this question recently. So what you got to do when you're pressing this F chord, you gotta really bear down on the center. And I know it's no fun. Trust me, I know. Pain will ensue. So you got to go for it. See, there's that 2nd string. See, I'm digging in. I can feel it. I can actually feel it. And another thing is too, when you have these little creases in your fingers from where your knuckles bend. got these little creases here. And just for those noticing, yeah, Swiss picks, baby. But so those little creases, sometimes strings get into those grooves, and you got to press down even harder. So yeah, pain. Okay, that's come on. Yeah, that's the guitar player's life. Okay. So we looked at that. Now let's look at the most basic. The most basic is your 4-string chord. Now, I think the 5-string is a little bit easier than this because this is kind of a little awkward. You got your little D7 kind of, you got your little D7 thing going on here, and then you got to, and throw in your third finger. And so basically what you got going is your first finger on strings 1 and 2 on your first fret, and then string 3 is your second finger on the second fret, and on string 4 is your third finger on the third fret. Hope I said that right. But anyway, there you go, your basic F chord. Now, and then I showed you the 5-string F chord. Okay, now this one here, it's the same as a 5-string chord, but you got your F here, okay, and on string 6, and so this finger is holding down strings 6, 1, and 2, doing that kind of, like jamming in your finger in there, causing lots of pain. Okay, and yeah, I know it's no fun. Trust me, I know it. Okay, now so the other chord I talked about earlier was this F chord here. Now this is relatively a lot easier, but you got a little travel distance. Okay, so let's look at that. Your first finger is going to go on string 5, fret 8, and either your third finger, your pinky finger, or your third finger is going to go on fret 10. So this is fret 8 and this is fret 10. This is going to hold down string 5, and on fret 10 you're going to hold down 3 strings in a row. You're going to hold down strings 4, 3, and 2, and it's going to sound like this. Okay, but if you're playing a chord progression that, this is hard for you and you wanted to do that, it'd be quite a travel. You have to go like this. Do you want to travel that far? So, you know what I'm saying? So it's totally up to you. So what you got to do is you got to pick from all these variations. And I showed you 3 here. I showed you 1 here. Now there are some cool things that are that you can do with the F chord. Like one of my favorite things. Instead of holding this down with 2 strings, you put your first finger on string 2 and leave string 1 open, and a really cool F major 7 chord. I love that chord. Great chord. Another cool chord, like you look at a lot of books, and they'll show you to play your F2 like this, like you play your 4-string F chord, like I showed you just a little earlier, and then you add your little finger here and you put it on your G note here to give you that second tone. But check this out, this is so cool. If you put your first finger on strings 1 and 2, like a regular F chord, of course, and then leave string 3 open, which is your second tonality, and then do this inversion here where you got your third finger on string 5, fret 3, and you got your pinky on string 4, fret 3, and it sounds like this. I love that chord. Anyway, so these are some great little variations. You get to see all the different things you can do with the F chord. I know it's not easy. I know it. And here's a great choice, little simple kind of thing. If you can move that quickly, So there it is. That's the best I can describe the F chord for you guys, because yeah, it's not easy. We got to do it. We got to pick, whatever one of these chords suits you, and it's got to be your go-to chord, and you got to do it. It's not easy. So hang in there, practice, subscribe.